So, Citla.
Yes, well, I saw that video as well as you did, Gabriel, and I was so proud of him because there was a point where it looks like the administrator asked him to take it off, and he didn't. The crowd was telling him, no, no, like, telling him to keep it on. And so to me, him walking away, they held his diploma. I think it's a symbolism, right? We have a young brown man who is graduating high school. So those of us who know, we follow the educational Chicano pipeline, that in itself is a huge accomplishment for our community. We don't know if he was first generation graduate, in his family. And so the representation of him having the Mexican flag, him crossing the stage, obtaining his diploma, which he wanted to do, I think that shows that's the fear that a lot of white racists, a lot of even brown racists have, because it's a symbol of an educated Mexican, a young Mexican who's to be the future of this country. And I think the paranoia, the fear is that they feel threatened by Mexican culture, by all these flags. It could have been a Puerto Rican flag, it could have been a Salvadorian flag, an Hondureño flag. I'm sure he would have received the same response. But because the way that Mexican identity is racialized, the way Trump obviously used anti-Mexican sentiments, and for him to be able to do that, and all these young people that are doing this, that's their form of resistance. That's the form for them to say, I'm proud of who I am. I've made it to this far. I'm proud of being a graduate. And that's the way that they're using it to respond, right? Because this is a generation that survived Trump. This is a generation that saw hate crimes against Mexicans rise up through the roof under Trump. So the psychological effects that has on our youth, I can see that in the way that they're saying, yeah, I am Mexican. And I've seen there's been a spark of this, proud of being Mexican is that has really, increased in the last 5-6 years. And it's beautiful to see because that's how youth are reacting. They don't have political power. They're not probably involved in community yet, but these are the ways that they're showing expression with who they are. And that's threatening this whole white narrative that he's not carrying an American flag, that he has a right to carry that Mexican flag. He has a freedom of speech. He has the pride. And if we are a country of diversity and everyone's included and we have this narrative, then he should be allowed, and every young person should be allowed to display that and say, I am proud Mexican, I'm proud Salvadorian, and I'm going to get my degree. And he's going to go on to do beautiful things. And so to me, the symbolism is what matters here. Whatever they just saw, oh, that flag represents Mexico. We hate Mexicans. Mexicans are A, B, C, and D, and that could go that narrative. But he's reclaiming the narrative. He's reclaiming what it means to be Mexican.
And for some looking at it, they'll say, oh, why is the Mexican flag always up? And and they get really out, bent out of shape. Do you think that he in raising the Mexican flag? Do you think it was an issue of him saying, hey, I'm representing the Mexican government and the geographic area called Mexico, and Andrés López Obrador is my president? Was he saying that, or what was he saying? What help viewers understand what the Mexican flag represented for the young men?
Again, I sorry, Everett, if you ever watch this, I'm gonna take on your narrative and I'm gonna assume these things, right?
I'm trying to interview him, by the way.
Awesome. Yes. To me, the Mexican flag, to him, I think it represents his family. It represents a culture that he has witnessed that has been trampled on by we're looking at this culture of the US, the culture that is post-Trump, so there's a lot of healing that we have to do. So to me, he saw it as, my parents are Mexican, they're proud of me. I want them to know that I'm not forgetting who I am. I want everyone that's watching me, my little brothers, perhaps, my little cousins, perhaps. I don't want them to be ashamed of who they are. I want them to know that they can be who they are and still succeed in life. You can be Mexican, celebrate who you are, still get your high school diploma, still get your master's, your PhD. I think that is the strongest message. Perhaps he's not going to articulate that, but that's how I see it. I put myself in his position. How would I have felt at that time surviving Trump. I survived 187 and Wilson, and I was traumatized. I cannot imagine what our youth are going through surviving Trump. So to me, it was his way of reclaiming, of being proud of his family, of being proud of who he is, but also sending a message to the youth. Maybe he's not thinking nationally. Maybe he was just doing it, his little cousins, his little brothers. It's not a cool thing to be Mexican. There's a lot of racism still. There's a lot of anti-Mexicanness going on. So to me, it was a way of him taking back that control, that power, and saying, this is who I am. I'm proud of who I am, and I'm succeeding as the person that I am.
Should and it almost feels, and I know we're not doing this, but it almost feels as though we have to explain ourselves or apologize, for him, waving the Mexican flag, where some states are still represented by the Confederate flag, and the Mexican flag never attempted to take over the United States the way the Confederate flag did.
Tenemos el diploma de Ever. Wow, we have the diploma of Ever. Este diploma no es solamente de Ever, es de todos ustedes y de toda la comunidad.
And it's not just Ever's diploma, it's all of our diplomas and our community's diploma.
También me siento muy agradecida con la doctora Penny Crooks.
I'm very grateful to Dr. Penny Crooks
porque ella está dispuesta a sentarse con los padres y los alumnos para tratar de cambiar un poco lo que pasó el jueves.
Because she has agreed to meet with parents and students to talk more about what happened Thursday and how to address change.
Está dispuesta a hacerlo y claro, vamos a seguir trabajando, vamos a seguir adelante para que esto no vuelva a pasar.
And we will keep moving forward so that this does not happen to any other student.
But tell me why Republicans are so afraid of critical race theory being taught to Mexican, Central American, South American kids. Why are they so afraid?